Doug, a very tense day in the British Parliament today after what you could call a humiliating day for Boris Johnson yesterday.
Yeah, it's extremely tense, and the context is crucial. This is coming a day after really his Brexit strategy crumbled into ruins. You said humiliating. It was also a historic defeat, a defeat on his first vote in Parliament, and coming after he also lost his majority very dramatically yesterday when a Tory member crossed the floor, as they say, and joined the Liberal Democrats, really in protest over the Brexit approach of this government. So he came to the dispatch box, which is from where he answers the questions this morning, in a very defensive posture, and really took a mauling from, a succession of critics on both sides of the aisles, including from within his own party. You did have the leader of the Scottish National Party in the House of Commons very pointedly questioning Boris Johnson at one point, saying, "Are you a Democrat or a dictator?" And he noted basically that the people of Great Britain never voted for a no-deal Brexit. Sure, they voted for Brexit, but not a no-deal Brexit. And he basically said that the Prime Minister is playing, as he put it, a game of bluff and bluster. You had the leader of the opposition, of the Labour Party opposition, you had Jeremy Corbyn, after being accused by Boris Johnson, as Boris Johnson has repeatedly done, is trying to depict Corbyn as surrendering somehow to Europe, as giving up, handing over Britain's sovereignty to Brussels, to the EU capital, basically saying, I can't be accused of undermining and negotiating the negotiations with Europe if there are no negotiations. So a swipe again at the contention of many people, once again on both sides of the aisles, that Boris Johnson, despite his claims of progress again and again in talks with the EU, has had absolutely nothing to show for it. And I'll say there has been another, Kenneth Clarke, long-standing icon of the Conservative Party, decades long, 5 decades in the House, every very familiar household name in Britain. He had said yesterday that he no longer recognizes Boris Johnson's party. He says that it's the Brexit Party rebranded. It's not the Conservative Party that he knew and had joined, and it's become sort of the most far-right Conservative Party in his memory in 5 decades in power. And I'll just leave you with this one thing. There was actually another interesting showdown when a turbaned Sikh, a Labour member of Parliament, got up and basically went on the attack against Boris Johnson for comments that have been well publicized in the past against minorities, especially Muslim women, calling them letterboxes for their garb. And it was a rather virulent, vociferous attack. Boris Johnson did come back defending himself in those comments, which were made long ago, but it just showed how much he was on the defensive today.
You mentioned the state of the Conservative Party. I mean, 21 Tory rebels have been expelled. So where does that leave the party?
In dissolution, in a civil war, and in a state of dissolution. Its entire future is at stake. These Tory party members who were expelled, why were they expelled, first of all? Boris Johnson basically for defying the party. In Britain, it's called removing their whip. And when you do that, it's because you go against the grain of the party. It's been done before, but not on such a critical issue as this. These are party members who, in many cases, for many years and many decades, you have 2 former chancellors among them of the Exchequer. You have the grandson of Sir Winston Churchill. These are among the members who have been expelled, summarily evicted from the party, unable to stand in the coming general election. Some of them, I suspect, are going to fight that decision. They see Boris Johnson as the insurgent, the newcomer, and how dare he and his cohort of new boys, as a lot of them see them, evict these lifelong conservatives. So the conservatives, the real story here is the Conservative Party itself in its own civil war. And right now, you are headed for a general election, but there's a lot of bickering over that as well. The Labour Party saying it is willing to go to a general election, but on its own terms, not on Boris Johnson's, and it first wants to make sure that that bill blocking a no-deal Brexit is approved by Parliament. Then it will agree to a date for general election.
All right. Thank you very much, Doug, for your analysis.